Hey everyone, and welcome. Get ready, because today we're taking a deep dive into Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, an antidote to chaos.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It is. We're going to really try to unpack his core ideas,
Right.
explore his kind of unique style.
Hell yeah.
And see what we can take away from it to apply to our own lives.
Absolutely.
We've got excerpts straight from the book.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to hear Peterson unfiltered.
Great.
And in his own words, which, let me tell you, is part of the experience.
Definitely.
We'll be talking about lobster dominance, hierarchies, the dangers of resentment,
It's all connected.
and why you shouldn't bother kids while they're skateboarding.
Oh, that's a classic Peterson one.
This is going to be a ride.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
Peterson's known for this really interesting blend of psychology and philosophy
Yes.
and those personal stories,
Yeah.
that really resonate with people.
And it really does set him apart.
I think so.
He's got this academic rigor, but it's delivered in such a raw and conversational style.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes him so appealing to so many people.
Yeah, it's not that, stuffy academic,
Not at all.
Did you know his dinner table conversations with his family were basically lectures on the meaning of life?
Oh, I believe it. From what I've read about him, it seems very true to form.
Right.
Yeah.
So, before we get too far,
Yeah.
what is the big idea behind all of Peterson's rules?
Oh, at the heart of it all, Peterson argues that we are constantly navigating between these two fundamental forces,
Okay.
chaos and order.
Okay.
So imagine chaos as the unpredictable, the wilderness,
Yeah.
full of possibilities.
Okay.
And order is the structure we build to make sense of it all.
Okay.
His point is that we need both for a meaningful life.
Okay, so chaos is like the exciting unknown.
Yeah, you can say that.
And order is what keeps things from, falling apart.
Yeah, keeps us grounded,
Grounded, okay.
keeps us on the path.
I like that. So how does this chaos and order idea play out in our everyday lives?
Well, think about it this way.
Okay.
Chaos can be those unexpected curveballs life throws at you.
Right.
A sudden job loss or a global pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
But it can also be the source of creativity and opportunity.
Okay.
Order is what helps us get out of bed in the morning.
Structure.
Yes. Follow routines and build a stable life.
Okay, so it's about finding that balance.
Precisely.
Okay.
Recognizing that both have their place.
Hmm.
When we understand these forces, it helps us make sense of our struggles,
Yeah.
the way society is structured.
Okay.
Even why we love stories and myths,
Oh, interesting.
they're all reflections of this fundamental human experience of navigating chaos and order.
Chaos and order. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I need you to break it down for me.
Okay.
Peterson has this whole thing about lobsters
Yes.
and dominance hierarchies.
Lobsters, that's right.
I mean, lobsters, how does that connect to us?
It might seem strange, but it's actually brilliant.
Okay.
He's using lobsters, these ancient creatures, to illustrate how ingrained dominance hierarchies are in biology, going way back.
Interesting.
Nature expresses itself differently depending on the situation. But these hierarchies, they're constant.
So we're not that different from lobsters scrambling for position?
Well, it's not about saying we're exactly like lobsters,
Right.
but there are similarities in how our brains react to status and power.
Okay.
And the key to it all is serotonin.
Wait, serotonin, like the happy chemical?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, tell me more.
So in both lobsters and humans,
Okay.
those higher up in the hierarchy have higher serotonin levels,
Okay.
which makes them more confident, less stressed,
Yeah.
and more likely to succeed.
It
But those
makes
lower
sense.
downs often have lower serotonin,
Okay.
making them anxious and more reactive to stress.
So are we just stuck in our place in the hierarchy?
Well, he's not saying that.
Okay.
His point is, by understanding how this system works, we can learn to navigate it more effectively
Okay.
and find ways to improve our position.
Okay.
And it all starts with self-awareness.
Okay. So you're not just stuck.
No.
So how do we start to climb that ladder, so to speak?
That brings us to one of Peterson's key ideas,
Okay.
the importance of tackling our inner critic.
Mm-hmm.
This is that voice in your head,
Oh, yeah.
constantly comparing you to others,
Yeah.
highlighting your flaws.
I know it well.
And let's be real, in today's world,
Right.
social media, curated lives,
It's yeah.
that voice can be relentless.
I think we all know that voice a little too well.
I think so.
So how do we handle it? Is it even possible to quiet that inner critic?
Well, Peterson's advice is to start by questioning that voice.
Okay.
Is it offering constructive feedback, or is it just keeping you stuck? The key is to shift your focus from external validation to internal growth.
Internal growth.
Yeah.
So instead of measuring ourselves against other people's highlight reels, we should be focusing on our own progress.
Exactly.
Okay.
He advocates for setting small, achievable goals.
Yeah.
Focusing on personal progress rather than perfection.
I like that.
And celebrating your wins, even the small ones.
Yeah.
It's about taking control of your narrative.
Rather than
letting that inner critic run the show.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
This is reminding me of his idea about discipline and sacrifice being so crucial for a meaningful life.
It's all connected.
It takes real effort to tune out the noise and focus on your own path.
It does. He believes that learning to delay gratification, making choices that prioritize the long term is key.
So it's like choosing to work out and eat healthy, even when you'd rather be on the couch with a bag of chips.
That's a good example, yeah.
It's about the long game.
The long game, exactly.
The short.
Not the quick fix.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is he ties this back to ancient wisdom.
Oh, wow.
About work and sacrifice. He points out that these ideas aren't just some arbitrary rules.
Right.
They're rooted in a deeper understanding of human psychology and the benefits of delaying gratification.
So these seemingly old-fashioned values actually have a basis in how our brains work.
You do.
I'm curious to hear more about this.
Well, think about the sense of accomplishment you feel.
Okay.
After completing a challenging task, reaching a long-term goal.
Yeah.
It builds resilience, self-control, a sense of purpose.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
Okay.
But Peterson isn't all about sunshine and rainbows, right?
Right.
He gets into some pretty dark territory, too.
He does.
I'm thinking of his discussion about the shadow side of human nature and our capacity for evil.
It's important to acknowledge.
Didn't he use the story of Cain and Abel to illustrate this?
He did. It's a powerful reminder that we all have a capacity for darkness within us.
That is a sobering thought.
It is.
So if we all have this capacity for darkness, how do we deal with it? Is he saying we're all doomed to repeat those same patterns?
Not necessarily. That's where Peterson's emphasis on self-awareness comes back into play.
Okay.
He argues that acknowledging the darkness within us is the first step to dealing with it constructively.
Okay.
Ignoring it only allows it to fester and potentially manifest in destructive ways.
So it's about facing our demons head on.
You could say that.
Rather than pretending they don't exist.
Yeah, it's about acknowledging our flaws.
Right.
And working to overcome them.
Yeah.
Not giving in to those destructive impulses.
It's a difficult and ongoing process.
It is.
But an essential one.
I agree. For personal growth.
For sure.
And understanding the complexities of the human nature.
Okay. I'm starting to see how all of these ideas connect.
Yeah.
But where does ideology fit into all of this?
Good question.
Peterson's pretty vocal about his critique of what he calls ideological possession.
He is.
Yeah.
And he uses a clever Soviet joke to illustrate the danger of blindly following any single narrative, whether it's religious, political, or social.
Okay.
The joke highlights how any ideology, when taken to an extreme, can lead to a distorted view of reality.
Right.
And stifle individual freedom.
So he's saying we need to be careful about becoming too attached to any one ideology.
Yeah, to stay open to other perspectives.
Okay, yeah.
To stay open-minded.
To stay open-minded, exactly.
Okay.
And he connects this to some hot button issues.
Oh, about
critiquing certain aspects of postmodernism and identity politics.
I can see how that would be controversial.
It is.
Yeah.
But he argues that while often well-intentioned,
right,
these ideologies can become problematic when they promote rigid thinking and a refusal to engage with opposing viewpoints.
So it's about questioning assumptions.
Yeah.
Seeking out diverse perspectives.
Yes.
And being willing to have your own beliefs challenged.
That's a hard one.
That is a tall order in today's world. It is, but he believes it's crucial for personal growth.
Okay.
And for creating a more just and compassionate society.
I think that's a good place to pause for now.
Right.
We've covered a lot of ground already.
We have, from lobsters and serotonin to the shadow self and the dangers of ideology.
It's a lot. We'll be back.
Lots to think about.
To unpack more of Peterson's 12 rules for life.
Absolutely looking forward to it.
Me too. Welcome back. It's amazing how Peterson manages to connect those ancient ideas to our modern lives.
It is, isn't it?
It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
So last time we were talking about the dangers of getting swept up in ideologies
Right.
and losing sight of individual responsibility.
Absolutely. It's a slippery slope.
It is. So where do we go from here?
Well, Peterson offers a lot of advice.
Right.
It's all interconnected.
Right.
But picking up from where we left off,
Okay.
one of the most striking things about his work
Yeah.
is his focus on truth-telling.
Truth-telling.
Yeah, which he considers essential for a meaningful life.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. And it's more than just being honest with others.
Right.
It's about being honest with yourself.
So this is rule number 8. Right.
Ways. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie.
Right. It seems straightforward enough.
It does, doesn't it?
But I have a feeling there's more to it than meets the eye.
There is.
So we all tell little white lies sometimes.
Of course, we're human.
Is Peterson saying we should be brutally honest all the time?
That's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
He connects lying, even small lies,
Okay.
to those larger themes of chaos and order we talked about earlier.
Right.
He argues that every lie, no matter how small,
Yeah.
introduces a bit of chaos into our lives,
Okay.
and it weakens the foundation of a stable and meaningful existence.
So it's not just about the lie itself.
No.
It's the ripple effect it creates.
Exactly.
It's like a crack in the foundation
Yes,
of
sir.
our reality.
A crack in the foundation. I like that.
And those cracks can spread,
Yeah.
leading to a sense of fragmentation,
Mhm.
distrust, and ultimately a loss of meaning.
Loss of meaning, that's right.
He's not saying there's never a time for discretion.
Right.
But he urges us to be mindful
Yes.
of even the seemingly harmless lies we tell.
Absolutely. It's about cultivating a deeper self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Yeah, and asking ourselves,
Okay.
why am I choosing to lie in this moment?
It's about aligning our actions with our values, right?
Yes.
And recognizing that even small lies can erode that sense of integrity.
It's about integrity.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how many little lies we tell ourselves every day.
Oh, I'm sure it's more than we'd like to admit.
Without even realizing it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. That's exactly the point.
Yeah.
Truth-telling for Peterson is a process.
Okay.
It's a lifelong journey of aligning your inner world with your outer world.
Aligning inner world with outer world.
It's about recognizing where those two are out of sync
Mm-hmm.
and working to bring them into harmony.
It's like holding up a mirror to ourselves
Yes, a mirror.
and being brutally honest about what we see. It takes courage
It does.
to do that.
But the rewards of living in alignment with our values are immense.
They are.
This makes me think about another idea of Peterson's,
Okay.
confronting our shadow.
Yes, confronting our shadow.
It seems like these concepts are connected.
They are.
If we're going to be truly honest with ourselves,
Right.
we have to acknowledge those parts of ourselves that we'd rather keep hidden.
Exactly. The parts we deem unacceptable.
Right.
Maybe they don't fit with our desired self-image.
So things like anger,
Could be
jealousy,
anger, jealousy. Yeah.
even those moments of pettiness we'd rather not admit to.
All of that. It's about the traits and impulses we repress or deny.
And Peterson argues that by ignoring these parts of ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
they don't just disappear.
No, they don't.
They actually gain power.
They can manifest in unhealthy ways.
Okay.
Resentment, addiction, self-sabotage,
Wow.
even physical illness.
So he believes confronting our shadow is crucial
Absolutely crucial.
for psychological health and for becoming a whole person.
A whole person. That's the goal.
But how do we do that?
Yeah.
Facing those darker impulses can be terrifying.
It can be. He doesn't recommend jumping into the deep end.
Right.
It's about a gradual approach,
Okay.
starting with small acts of self-awareness.
Okay.
Pay attention to what triggers you,
Mm-hmm.
what evokes a strong emotional reaction.
Okay.
And then ask yourself,
Yeah.
what is this reaction telling me about myself?
Okay.
What part of me am I trying to hide?
So it's like those moments when you catch yourself overreacting to something small.
Yes, exactly.
And you realize there's something bigger going on beneath the surface.
That's it. It's about being a detective of our own minds.
A detective. I like that.
Yeah.
And things like journaling can be helpful.
Oh, absolutely.
Writing down your thoughts and feelings.
It can bring those unconscious patterns
Yeah.
into the light of awareness.
So it's about becoming a compassionate observer
A compassionate observer, yes.
of your own mind
Without judgment.
without judgment.
Yes, without condemning yourself
Right.
for what you discover.
This is all about honesty again, isn't it?
It is. It's about being honest with ourselves about who we are.
The full spectrum.
The full spectrum, the good and the bad.
Right. And as you become more aware of your shadow, you can begin to integrate those aspects of yourself in a healthy way.
In a healthy way, that's key.
It's not about condoning bad behavior.
No.
But about understanding its root causes.
Yes.
And channeling that energy constructively.
It's about transformation.
It's like transforming those shadows into something that can actually serve us.
Exactly.
Rather than sabotage us.
That's the goal.
So if we're being honest with ourselves and confronting our shadow, what are we aiming for? What's the ultimate goal?
Well, Peterson emphasizes pursuing what's meaningful.
Meaningful.
Not just what's convenient or easy.
Okay.
Which he outlines in Rule 12.
Rule 12, okay.
This one might seem a little odd at first.
Okay.
Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street.
Wait, what? Pet a cat? How does that fit into all of this?
I know, it sounds strange.
I have to admit, that one threw me for a loop when I first read it.
It threw me off too at first.
Really?
But it's a metaphor.
Okay.
For finding those moments of joy and connection.
Okay.
In the midst of everyday chaos.
Okay, I'm starting to see it now.
You see it?
Yeah. It's about being present.
Yes.
Savoring those small moments of joy.
Yes.
And choosing actions that align with a deeper sense of purpose.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
He uses a brilliant example to illustrate this.
Yeah.
He compares Pinocchio with a modern drug addict.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Pinocchio, despite the temptations, chooses to become a real boy.
Right.
He embraces the challenges and responsibilities of a meaningful life.
Okay.
The addict succumbs to that immediate gratification,
right,
sacrificing his health, relationships, and ultimately his soul.
Wow, it's a stark reminder that the easy path isn't always the best path.
It's not. It's not.
But how do we know what's truly meaningful for us?
That's the question, isn't it?
It seems like everyone's searching for that these days.
They are.
So there's no one-size-fits-all recipe for meaning.
No recipe.
It's more about a personal journey of discovery.
Exactly. It's about taking responsibility for your life and finding a purpose that resonates with your deepest values.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And this is where Peterson's idea of finding something worth suffering for comes in right.
That's right. That's right.
He's not afraid to talk about the difficult aspects of life.
He's not. He acknowledges that suffering is inevitable.
Right.
Part of the human experience.
He's not saying we should seek it out.
No, not at all.
But that trying to avoid it at all costs can actually lead to more suffering.
It can. It's like that saying, what you resist persists.
Right. So he's encouraging us to embrace the challenges and find meaning in them.
Yes. He argues that having something worth suffering for gives our lives depth and purpose.
It's about embracing those struggles, knowing their opportunities for growth and transformation.
Exactly. Opportunities for growth.
That's a powerful way to look at it.
It is.
But how do we actually find that thing worth suffering for? It's like we're all on this existential treasure hunt.
It can feel that way sometimes.
Searching for that one thing that will make it all make sense.
I understand that feeling.
Right.
But the journey itself is part of the process.
Okay.
He encourages experimentation.
Okay.
Trying new things. Skipping outside your comfort zone and seeing what resonates with your soul.
So it's about being open to new experiences.
Yes.
Embracing the unknown.
Embracing the unknown.
And trusting that the path will reveal itself along the way.
Exactly. And being open to the unexpected.
The unexpected.
Sometimes the most meaningful things come when we least expect them.
That's true.
But we have to be receptive, ready to recognize those opportunities when they arise.
This reminds me of one of Peterson's most powerful quotes.
Oh, which one?
The purpose of life is finding the largest burden that you can bear and bearing it.
That's a good one. Very Peterson.
It seems to sum up his philosophy quite well.
It does. It's not about seeking comfort or ease.
Right.
It's about finding a challenge that brings out your best.
Yeah.
A purpose that makes you feel truly alive.
It's about stepping into our own heroism, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Not in some grand, epic sense, but in the everyday choices we make.
Yes.
The challenges we overcome and the contributions we make to the world around us.
That's where the real heroism lies.
This is really resonating with me.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
It's inspiring and challenging all at the same time.
It is. Peterson does that.
I can already feel myself thinking differently about my own life.
That's the power of his work.
About the choices I'm making and the burdens I'm choosing to bear.
It's about self-reflection.
I'm ready to keep exploring this. What else does Peterson have in store for us?
Oh, we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more.
It's really amazing how Peterson weaves together these like grand philosophical ideas
Right.
with practical advice.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just about abstract concepts. It's about like,
Taking action.
yeah, taking action and making changes in the real world.
Exactly.
What were some of the practical takeaways that stood out to you?
You're right. He's not just some like armchair philosopher.
Right.
He offers these concrete steps we can take to improve our lives. One that comes to mind is his idea of taking responsibility for our own lives, starting with the small things.
Okay.
Which is the focus of Rule 6.
That's the one about setting your house in perfect order.
Yes.
Before you criticize the world, right?
That's the one.
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's a powerful metaphor.
It is. So he's saying that before trying to fix the world's problems, we need to take a good look at our own lives and make sure we're living in alignment with our values.
Inner and outer world, right.
Right. So it's about practicing what you preach.
Walking the walk.
Yeah, walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not suggesting we ignore social issues or injustice.
Right.
But he's arguing that real change starts with the individual.
It's about recognizing that you have the power to create order in your own life, even when the world around you feels chaotic.
Exactly.
It's about taking ownership.
Ownership.
Of your thoughts, your behaviors, your choices.
And that can be incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
When you stop feeling like a victim of circumstance.
Right.
And you start taking responsibility.
Yeah.
You gain a sense of agency and control of your life.
That makes sense. It's like you're no longer at the mercy of those external forces.
Right.
You're actively shaping your own destiny.
You're in the driver's seat.
I like that. What are some other practical tips that Peterson offers?
Well, he also emphasizes the importance of being precise in our speech.
Okay, I'm curious about this one. That's Rule 10, right?
Yeah. Be precise in your speech.
Why is that so important?
Well, think about it. If you're not clear about what you want or how you feel, how can you expect others to understand you, let alone help you achieve your goals?
It's like trying to navigate a maze without a map.
Exactly. And it applies to our self-talk as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not just about communicating clearly with others.
Right.
It's about being precise in our thoughts and intentions as well.
Absolutely. Peterson argues that sloppy thinking and vague language lead to misunderstandings and can hold us back from reaching our full potential.
So it's like using language as a tool to create clarity and purpose.
Clarity and purpose.
It makes you think twice about those times you find yourself saying, I don't know what I want.
Or I'm just not sure.
I'm just not sure, right?
Yeah.
It's about taking the time to articulate our desires and goals with precision.
Yes.
So we can start moving towards them with intention.
Intentionality, that's key.
This reminds me of his advice about listening. He talks about the importance of assuming that the person you're listening to might know something you don't.
Right. That's Rule 9.
It's a game changer.
It is. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in our own opinions.
Oh, yeah.
And tune out anything that challenges our worldview.
We're bombarded with information and opinions all the time.
We are.
It takes a conscious effort to truly listen to others.
It does.
Especially those who hold different views than our own.
It's about being open to other perspectives.
Peterson's point is that everyone has something valuable to offer. Some piece of wisdom or insight that we can learn from.
It's about approaching conversations with curiosity.
Curiosity.
And humility.
Not with the goal of winning.
No.
Or proving ourselves right.
Exactly. It's about learning.
Learning.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we don't have all the answers.
That's a hard one for a lot of people.
It is, but there's always something new to learn.
Always.
That shift in perspective can make a world of difference.
A world of difference.
It opens us up to new possibilities.
Yes.
And deeper understanding.
And it creates the conditions for more meaningful conversations.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Now, one of the more controversial aspects of Peterson's work is his discussion of gender roles.
That's right.
I know this is a sensitive topic.
It is.
And his views have sparked a lot of debate.
A lot of debate.
So how do we approach this conversation?
Carefully.
Carefully, in a way that's respectful and informative.
You're right. It's complex and sensitive.
Yeah.
While we're not here to endorse or condemn his views,
right,
it's important to acknowledge that his ideas on gender have generated strong reactions.
Yes. I think it's important to understand where he's coming from without shutting down the conversation or dismissing those who disagree with him.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it's helpful to remember that he's approaching this from a certain perspective.
Okay.
Looking at these archetypal patterns.
Right.
he sees throughout history, mythology, and religion.
I remember those. He even uses the fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel to make his point.
Yeah, his interpretations can be pretty provocative.
It can be.
But at the heart of it, he's arguing that these archetypes represent fundamental forces that play out in both men and women.
Interesting.
Understanding these patterns, he believes, can help us navigate the complexities of relationships and create a more balanced and fulfilling life.
It's not about advocating for rigid, traditional gender roles, but about recognizing the interplay of these archetypal energies.
Yes, within ourselves and our relationships.
It's all connected to his message of finding meaning and purpose, isn't it?
It is, and he believes that meaning is often found in shouldering the burdens of life with courage and integrity.
He encourages us to embrace responsibility.
Yes.
To find a challenge worthy of our efforts.
That's right.
And to make a meaningful contribution to the world.
To leave our mark.
That's a powerful message. He's not offering easy answers or quick fixes.
No.
But a path of self-discovery, growth, and transformation.
Exactly.
And he reminds us that even in the face of suffering and uncertainty, there's always the potential for growth.
There is.
For finding purpose.
Yes.
And for creating a life filled with meaning.
That's the ultimate goal.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life.
It's been a journey.
It has. We've covered a lot of ground, from lobster hierarchies and the shadow self to the importance of truth-telling and the pursuit of meaning.
So much to think about.
It's been a challenging and thought-provoking conversation, and I hope our listeners have found it as insightful as I have.
I agree. Peterson's work is a treasure trove of ideas.
Yes.
It can really spark some self-reflection,
Yeah.
challenge our assumptions, and ultimately inspire us to live more meaningful lives.
It's a reminder that the journey of self-discovery is ongoing.
It is.
It's about constantly questioning, learning, and striving to become the best versions of ourselves.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And as always, thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Until next time.
Keep thinking, keep questioning, and keep striving to make your life a masterpiece.